Hello, everyone. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you are walking down a busy city street. But this isn't a normal street. On this street, every single person you pass stops, pulls out a notebook, and writes down exactly what you are doing. They note what you're wearing, what you're looking at, who you smile at, and how long you pause at a particular shop window. Now, imagine that every time you go into a store, a person follows you, recording every item you pick up, even the ones you put back. They listen to your conversations with the cashier. They watch which aisle you spend the most time in. Finally, imagine that when you go home, you invite a group of strangers inside. They sit in your living room and listen to your private conversations with your family. They watch what you eat, what books you read, and what time you turn off the lights. You would feel watched, controlled, and like your private life was no longer your own. You would probably call this a violation of your most basic freedom. My message to you today is simple. This is not a nightmare. This is our reality. We live in a glass house. The only difference is that the people following us aren't using notebooks. They are using code, algorithms, and the very devices we carry in our pockets. This lecture is about why that matters. It's about why digital privacy is not just about hiding secrets, but about protecting our freedom and our human autonomy, our ability to make our own choices and control our own lives. Part 1. The Great Trade You Didn't Know You Made. Let's start with a question. How many of you use free services? Gmail, Google Search, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We love them because they are convenient, connect us with friends, and are, well, free. But in the digital world, there's a famous saying, if you are not paying for the product, you are the product. For a long time, we thought the trade was fair. We give up a little bit of data, our search history, our likes, our location, and in return, we get amazing free technology. We thought the data was just used to show us better ads. No big deal, right? A man named Shoshana Zuboff gave this system a name. She calls it surveillance capitalism. Think of traditional capitalism. A car company makes cars and sells them to you for a profit. The customer is the car buyer. In surveillance capitalism, the companies that run these free apps and services are not reeling you a service. They are selling you. Here's how it works. Every time you use a free app, you are a worker. You are working for free, generating the most valuable resource in the world: data. What you watch, what you search for, what you buy, who your friends are, where you are right now, how fast you are driving, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, all of this is collected. This raw data is then shipped to giant computer factories, server farms, owned by companies like Google and Meta, Facebook's parent company. There it is processed, analyzed, and turned into a super detailed map of who you are, a digital twin of you. This twin is so accurate that it can predict your behavior. It knows you might be feeling sad, or that you are thinking about buying a new car, or that a certain political topic makes you anxious. Once they have this powerful prediction machine, they don't just sell you an ad. They sell the certainty of your behavior. They sell the ability to influence your next move. An ad company doesn't just want to show you a shoe. They want to be the reason you buy that shoe at that exact moment. This is not a harmless trade. Many experts, including those I agree with, see this as a profound threat to human civilization. Why? Because it creates a world where our choices are no longer truly our own. They are being guided, nudged, and steered by invisible algorithms designed to benefit the highest bidder. Our autonomy, our power to choose our own path, is being chipped away, one click at a time. Part 2. Two ways of being watched, from the individual to the masses. To understand how dangerous this is, we need to understand the different ways we are watched. There are two main types: tactical and strategic. Tactical surveillance is what we traditionally think of. A police officer gets a warrant to tap a suspected criminal's phone. It is targeted, focused, and has a specific goal. It is powerful but limited. Strategic surveillance is something else entirely. This is the mass collection of data on everyone. It's not about finding one bad guy. It's about building a giant database of all human behavior. Surveillance capitalism has supercharged strategic surveillance. It has made it cheap and easy to collect data on billions of people. The government used to have to work hard to get a little bit of data on a few people. Now, because of commercial data collectors, the government can get massive amounts of data on anyone with very little effort. Imagine it like this. Tactical surveillance, like using a magnifying glass to look at one specific ant. Strategic surveillance is like taking a satellite image of the entire ant colony, tracking every single ant's movement, every grain of sand they move, for the rest of their lives. This shift changes everything. It creates a terrifying imbalance of power. There are huge forces, both corporate and governmental, that have the ability to watch us all the time. Part 3. The devices in our pockets. Are any of them safe? So, if we are being watched through our devices, can we do anything about it? Is one device safer than another? There is a general belief, and one that I share, that Apple's iPhone is currently more secure for the average person than a computer running Windows or Apple's own macOS. The main reason is something called sandboxing. Think of your phone like an apartment building. On an iPhone, every app, your Facebook app, your banking app, your game, is in its own separate, locked apartment. It can't just wander into the hall and peek into the other apartments. It can't easily access data from other apps or mess with the core system that runs the phone. On a traditional computer operating system like Windows or older versions of macOS, it's more like everyone is living in one giant, open-concept loft. If you install one bad program, it has a much easier time wandering around, looking at your files, and causing trouble for all the other programs. The sandboxed environment of the iPhone makes it much harder for malicious software to take over your device. However, and this is a huge however, we must not be fooled into thinking any device is a perfect fortress. Absolute security is impossible. Because the deepest level of the system, the very foundation of the device, can still have flaws. Think of it like a bank vault. The vault door, like the app sandbox, might be incredibly strong. But if the concrete floor, the core operating system, has a crack in it that the builders didn't know about, a thief can still get in. These cracks are called zero-day exploits, and they are constantly being found by both security researchers and, unfortunately, by governments and hackers. No system is perfect. Part 4. Talking to each other. The need for private communication. If our devices are leaky, how can we communicate privately with friends, family, or sources? This is where tools like Signal come in. Signal is a messaging app, just like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. But what makes it special is its focus on privacy. It uses end-to-end encryption. This is a fancy term, but the idea is simple. Imagine you write a letter, put it in a box, and lock it with a padlock. Only the person you are sending it to has the key. While the postal service carries the box, they can't open it. They can see the box, but they have no idea what's inside. That is end-to-end encryption. Only you and the person you're talking to can read the messages. Not the company, not a hacker, not the government, without breaking the lock. But there's another reason Signal is so important. It is open source. This is a critical concept for trust. The code for apps like WhatsApp is a secret. It's like a secret recipe. We have to trust the company when they say there are no secret, bad ingredients. We have to trust that they aren't putting a backdoor in the recipe that lets them, or someone else, peek at our letters. Signal, however, publishes its entire recipe for the whole world to see. A global community of the world's best code breakers and security experts, cryptographers, can inspect every single line of code. They can check for mistakes, and most importantly, they can check for backdoors. Because this global community is constantly watching and scrutinizing Signal, it is highly, highly unlikely that it is secretly run by a government or intelligence agency. Someone would have found the proof by now. The transparency of open-source software provides a level of trust that secret corporate code simply cannot. It's a tool built by and for the people to give us back a sliver of private space in our digital world. Part 5. A future of privacy. Technology that doesn't need to see you. But what if we could go even further? What if we could use the power of data without actually giving away the data itself? This sounds like magic. Let's use a medical example. Imagine there is a huge database of patient health records. This data could be used by researchers to find a cure for cancer, but it contains the most private information imaginable. To use it today, a hospital might have to hand over the data to a research lab, which is a huge privacy risk. That patient data could be leaked, stolen, or misused. Now imagine a different way. What if we could send the research question, find a pattern linked to this cancer, to the data and have the answer come back, without anyone ever seeing the individual patient information? What if the data never has to be opened to be useful? This is what privacy-enhancing technologies aim to do. They allow us to perform mathematical functions on data while it remains encrypted or secret. It's like giving a locked box to a chemist and having them tell you what's inside without ever opening the lock. This is revolutionary. It could unlock the value of data for science, for medicine, for public good, without destroying individual privacy. It would mean you truly own your data and can choose to contribute to research without the fear of being exploited or having your most personals exposed. This is the kind of technology that could build a future where privacy and progress can coexist. Part 6. Your money, your business. Privacy in finance. Our privacy isn't just about what we say or search for. It's also about what we do with our money. For centuries, cash was the ultimate private transaction. If I give you $20 for a used book, there is no record. No bank knows, no credit card company knows. It is anonymous. In the digital age, cash is disappearing. Almost all transactions are electronic and therefore traceable. This is where cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin entered the picture. Bitcoin was touted as digital cash, but it's important to understand its limitations. Bitcoin is not truly anonymous. It is pseudonymous. Think of it like a pen name. All of your transactions are written forever in a giant public ledger, the blockchain, next to your pen name, which is a long string of letters and numbers. If at any point your real name gets connected to that pen name, say when you buy a coffee with Bitcoin at a shop that asks for your ID, then the entire history of your transactions is now linked to you. It's like writing a diary in code and then accidentally giving someone the codebook. This is why tools like Tornado Cash were created. These are mixers or tumblers. They take a bunch of people's cryptocurrency, mix it all together, and send it back out, making it very difficult to trace which coin came from which person. It restores a degree of privacy, like cash. But this has put these tools and their creators in the crosshairs of governments. The recent arrest of Roman Storm, one of the developers of Tornado Cash, is a powerful example. He is facing serious legal charges, not for stealing money or committing a crime himself, but for writing code that allows others to have private financial transactions. This case shows us that the legal system is struggling with the concept of privacy. It asks a difficult question. Is writing a tool that enables privacy a crime, even if that tool could also be used by criminals? This is a fundamental fight over whether we have a right to financial privacy in the digital age. Part 7. The world is watching. Pervasive surveillance everywhere. The surveillance isn't just on our phones and in our bank accounts. It is seeping into the physical world around us in ways we might not even notice. Your texts and photos. Governments are pushing for something called client-side scanning. This sounds technical, but the idea is terrifying. It means the app on your phone would scan every message you write and every photo you take before it is encrypted and sent. It would be looking for illegal content. But this is like having the government install a camera in your living room just in case you do something illegal there. It destroys the very idea of private communication because the scan happens on your device, in your private space. Your home, your Wi-Fi router isn't just for internet. It emits radio waves. Some companies are now developing technology that uses these Wi-Fi signals to track movement through the walls of your home. It can tell if someone is in the bedroom, the living room, or the kitchen. It can even detect if someone has fallen down. While this has potential benefits for elder care, it also means your home is no longer a sanctuary. Your private movements within your own four walls could be monitored and recorded. The streets. Walk outside and you are on camera. Cities are filled with surveillance cameras, many of which are not secure. Their video feeds can be hacked and streamed live on the internet. Furthermore, as you drive, automated license plate readers are snapping pictures of your car, recording your location, and building a database of everywhere you go. There is no warrant, no suspicion, just mass recording of everyone's movement. We are building a world where there are fewer and fewer places to escape the watchful eye. Every message, every step, every purchase, every glance is being logged. Part 8. The road ahead. Can privacy win? Given all of this, it's easy to feel hopeless. Can privacy possibly survive? The future might seem bleak, but I believe there is a path forward. The key is this: for privacy to be widely adopted by the average person, it must not be a sacrifice. It must be a superior choice. Most people won't use a private app just because it's private. They will use it because it's better. It's faster, has better features, and is easier to use. Then the privacy becomes a powerful added benefit. We need to create a world where privacy is an inherent and advantageous part of technology. This is the goal of the privacy-enhancing technologies I mentioned earlier. We need to build systems where you get all the benefits of a connected, data-driven world, personalized services, medical breakthroughs, smart cities, without having to surrender your autonomy. Imagine a search engine that is just as good as Google but doesn't track you. Imagine a social network that connects you with friends without building a profile to sell to advertisers. Imagine a financial system that is both efficient and private, like digital cash. When privacy is no longer a niche concern for people with something to hide, but the default setting of the best technology available, then we will have won. It will become a no-brainer. You won't choose the private option because you're paranoid. You'll choose it because it's simply the best tool for the job. Conclusion: why this fight matters. So, let's bring this all back to where we started: freedom and human autonomy. We are at a critical turning point in history. The architecture of our digital world is being built right now, and it is being built by huge corporations and governments whose interests are not always aligned with our own. They want us to be predictable, controllable, and transparent. They want us to live in the glass house. Because a predictable person is easy to sell and easy to manage. An autonomous person, someone who can think for themselves, make their own choices, and act without being watched or nudged, is a threat to that system of control. Digital privacy is not about having something to hide. It is about having something to protect. It is about protecting the freedom to be yourself, to explore new ideas, to make mistakes, to have a private conversation, to read what you want, and to love who you love without anyone else's permission or knowledge. It is about protecting your autonomy, your fundamental right to be the author of your own life, and not just a character in a story written for you by a faceless algorithm. The fight for digital privacy is one of the most important fights for human freedom in the 21st century. It is a fight to reclaim our right to think, speak, and act freely in a world that is increasingly designed to watch and control us. It's a fight for the right to be an unpredictable, free human being, and it's a fight that we must all be a part of.